News. I'm Wendy King.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Napa River beautiful 2-hour kayak tour as we discover wildlife and explore Napa's most revealing and provocative secrets. Perfect.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports.
If you want to cut the cord and watch more of the beautiful game, NGSN may be the online streaming service you're looking for. FreeSoccerTrial.com. With NGSN, you get live, legal, and on-demand access to matches from the Eredivisie, J-League from Japan, K-League from Korea, Argentina's Primera Division, Portugal, Ecuador,
Sports Byline.
Russian Premier League.
This is Shaquille O'Neal.
And the Shaquettes.
Go.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports. This is Frank Perez.
Check.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-570-9631. 800-570-9631. 800-570-9631. That's 800-570-9631.
Come on, let's ride.
Hey guys and gals, Scott Turnage here, the old G3 sportsman. You know, we're awfully proud to have G3 Boats as the official boat sponsor for the Outdoor Guys radio show. From time to time, Ken will be talking with...
All right, guys, we're going to go live. Go ahead. You're on.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez, and I will be joined with my co-host Oklahoma Brian and Florida Rick on a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Las Vegas. We are on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio, also on American Forces. Guys, how's it going out there?
Going pretty good. How you doing, Frank?
I'm hanging tough, you guys. We had a good night, Rick. Some couple of nice little choices yesterday.
Yeah, that Duke second half, I hope everyone was able to play it. It seemed like an obvious play, figured they'd run away with it. But they really didn't run away with it until the final, 4 or 5 minutes. Until then, I think Tech had a 3-point lead with, 4.5 minutes left. And then
that's right.
Finally, in the last few minutes, Duke pulled away with, all the fouls, and Tech just couldn't make a shot. So and they ended up covering the game line, let alone the second half line. Somehow they covered the game line. And we got the Heat. He came in. And we missed the Mavericks by a half point. That one hurt. Came down to a shot at the buzzer, and we didn't hit it. So, yeah. But other than that, and we never gave out the bowl game yesterday. We were kind of on the fence because of the line movement and the fact that USF was playing a home game. The public was big on the favorite. But we finally had a dog come in just now. Just went final. FIU beat Toledo.
Oh, they did.
Dog's the first dog. Yeah. So it's probably be a bunch of dogs coming in here over today and the coming weekend.
Wow, and I saw the start of that game was a disaster for FIU, right?
They were down early, I think 7-0. Oh, yeah, they fumbled the opening kickoff, and they were down in the second play of the game, 7-0. So it's like, oh, here comes the favorite again. Another easy cover, but FIU went right. Actually, Toledo scored the final play of the game to lose by 3. They were down 10. They threw a bomb the final play of the game. That was that's how it ended. FIU won 35-32, I think.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Brian, how about you, buddy? How's it going out there?
Unspectacular day of Christmas shopping, actually. So didn't actually finish it. That's about it for me. I saw the FIU score come in, and did the game go over? It goes over every year in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, the final score ended up going way over. I think it went over by 10 points. There was a huge line move on that game, too, from the opening number till the closing number.
Towards the over, right?
Yeah. Towards the under.
Towards the under.
Oh, towards the under.
Yeah, that's because the
67.
Right, because the FIU quarterback was out, the starter.
Right.
And he had a rating of 157.4. But the backup, Rockford emailed me.
Nice. I like when you just pulled that out.
No, because I was just looking at the Don Best when it came up, because Rockford emailed me and said, don't worry, the backup is very capable for FIU.
Nice. All right. So Rockford cashed on the Bahamas Bowl?
He certainly did. I think he's 2-1 now. He lost with the same one as us. Not you, Ryan, but we had San Diego State. So Rockford is.
He's got to pay that bail bondsman at some point. So that's gonna help, right?
Oh no, he showed up. He showed up. He made bail. He made bail.
All right.
He's out. He's out now. But
nice. All right. Hopefully he'll be able to stay out for the entire bowl season. I know that would be it's a big time of year for him. I hate to see him miss some of these bowl games.
Right now, I was gonna. Yeah, it is. Brian. Now, are you really plugged in with the chess thing, right? Because we've been doing our homework on that, right?
Yeah, I've been following that. Yeah. Tell me,
right.
tell me again
Good pick
exactly
on that, and
what.
then you faded the Giants, so you got you. But that. Well, this is what I was going to run by you, okay? Because I know that you love like civil rights and all that kind of stuff. Now the women.
Are you not in favor of civil rights?
No, I am, but I know that you're super plugged
good.
in. And now there's a big controversy in chess because obviously Magnus Carlsen won the men's and he got $620,000, and once again the woman champion got $60,000, and it's been at a 1-to-10 ratio since Bobby Fischer and Spassky played in '72. Now the women are thinking that that's nowhere near equality. What do you think about women complaining, or is it a demand factor? What do you think?
No, I think the women's category is an exhibition, and the women are welcome to compete in the open category, which is the same category that Carlsen competes in. That's a unisex category. There just happens to be an additional category that only women can compete in, and I think that that's a function of supply and demand. Are there enough people that want to watch this women's category? I think it's great that there is one, and from everything I've read, I mean, I'm not a chess expert, but everything I've read from the people that follow the sport, they seem to indicate that the women's matches are more exciting. They're less likely to end in a draw. They tend to be a little more aggressive in their play. And you get kind of a more of a wide open style of chess, even though maybe it's not quite at the same level as the Carlsen chess. It's a good product to watch. But we can't make it. We can't. I mean, it's unrealistic to think that the payout would be the same, because you're talking about players that the top player might be the 100th best player in the world. So why would the payouts be on par with the open elite division?
Right, but you're absolutely right about the excitement. See, it's done in a format like just like March Madness. 64 women pair off, they get seeded. Then they play schedule, like the Bears. They play 2-game matches against each other. Very easy schedule. They each get to play with white, and then it gets bracketed down. So it's kind of exciting.
There's a good angle to that.
But but that's not so much like the thing. But
strength of schedule is a great angle for.
But do you think? Okay, so now we know that the woman in the FIDE score is like at least I think 193 points less than Carlsen, which is huge, because once you get into those numbers, 193, it's like really you can't even compete with Carlsen. But do you think that it should be at a 10-to-1 ratio? That's what they're complaining about.
I mean, it's a totally different situation, because I believe on the men's side, it's the defending champion playing and I shouldn't even call it men's. It's not men's. On the open side, I should say, it's the defending champion playing the number one contender in the world, the contender with the highest score for that year. On the women's side, it resembles a basketball tournament where you've got like a wide open 64 team field. So it's like apples and oranges. They're totally different events. And I'm just sympathetic to the plight of the women. I think that it's a great thing that more women are playing chess, and I want them to. But I don't see how. I mean, they want a bigger payout, but who's supposed to come up with the extra money? I mean, I doubt this is a incredibly profitable event for the producer of the event. I mean, I'm sure they're probably struggling to come up with the prize money for the Carlsen prize, and that's simply because he's such a big name. I don't see how they could possibly come up with a similar amount of money for the women's tournament.
That's right. Well, guys, what do you got? Talk to me. What do you guys got in the hopper today? Let's see what. I'm gonna throw you the ball.
We're going to be talking a lot today about the bowl games for this weekend. I think we're not going to be on again until middle of next week. So we have bowl games between Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. We got a full slate of NFL to go over. We got full NBA scheduled tonight, full college scheduled tonight. So we have many, many games to talk about over the rest of the show here. Right?
Well, Nick, is that true? We're on.
Okay, guys. So I don't know if you're getting me, but the okay. So there's good news and bad news, and the bad news is the network's having some issues. So we're currently not streaming. We're not on Sports Byline SB Nation American Forces right this second, and probably won't be. So guess what? We get to have a really fun show today, and with limited or no commercial breaks. How does that sound to everybody?
Are we allowed to tell dirty jokes?
You can tell the dirtiest jokes you want, Frank.
Oh, you're kidding, really? So we can. So this is kind of like a Christmas present show.
This is
right?
our Christmas gift to everybody watching on the stream. Yes, and our apologies here from Fifth Street Sports about the first 10 minutes, and it's been one of those things where everything's checked in, and then all of a sudden we have all sorts of problems. But we'll fix it for Monday, rest assured. But right now, it's
are we having a show on Christmas Eve?
I don't know. Why not?
Okay.
I mean it's up to you guys. What do you guys? Well, we'll do this live on the air. Well, what do you guys think?
It's up to what. Let's vote on it, Brian.
Let's vote on it.
I would vote. I would rather have the day off. That's my vote.
You want the day off? All right.
I would probably vote for that too.
All right, Rick.
But I would be willing to come on and do it.
All right. So then Christmas Day, obviously, right?
Well, hold on a second, guys. I mean, you guys have all had your say, and obviously, it's all it's all appreciated. But I would personally like to know, for me, what Juniper thinks. And right now, she's licking her butt. So I think that's probably a day off. I'm thinking.
Juniper. Yep, she's off too. Look at it. There it is. There it is, you guys.
Exactly. All right. Well, Frank, we're going to go back to you. Just don't lick your butt. We'll be all right, okay?
You got it. Well, my gosh, you guys, we get to have a Christmas. And then obviously we're off Christmas Day, right?
No, don't be silly. What do you think? You get 2 days off in a row? What's the matter with you?
Oh, you really?
No, of course not. Christmas Day. Don't be silly. Yeah, so, because no one gambles on Christmas Day.
No, never.
Yeah. We will.
Except for Las Vegas Chris. Except for Las Vegas Chris, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Christmas Day is a decent sized betting day. It's Christmas Eve that's actually the deadest day of the year in betting. Christmas Eve used to be the day, like Christmas Eve used to be the one day that if you called a sports book, like literally the phone would go unanswered. It would just ring and ring and ring. They would, at times, there would be Christmas Eves where there was nobody in the office at sports books.
You're kidding.
Because many times there was no games. For a long time, there was no games on Christmas Eve in any sport. Now, I think college football has had a bowl game for, the last 10 years, Rick?
Well, they had the Hawaii Bowl for all these, about the last 10, 12 years. But they discontinued it. The Hawaii Bowl is going to be actually Saturday night. And then the only game Christmas Eve is going to be Denver, Oakland. What a feast.
Well,
isn't there usually
hold on.
a bunch of bullshit college basketball tournaments on Christmas Eve?
No, I think Christmas Day you have a Hawaii tournament. It's not Christmas Eve.
Well, you know the thing is, guys, is that this is 14 days of pure soccer magic, though. This period, where we have games just about every day except for Christmas Day in the Premier League. Right now, Wolverhampton Wanderers are playing Liverpool. There's matches Christmas Eve. It's fantastic.
Is it Boxing Day a full slate in the EPL?
Boxing Day is a huge full slate in the Premier League. Yes, correct.
And it's usually an over day, isn't it? A high-scoring day, I think Boxing Day is.
It could well be because all the fans are egging them on, but the players are usually told not to overdo it, and of course, most of them do. But
I got turned away.
Actually, and I want to interrupt I know on Christmas Eve there are no Premier League games, actually, but there are two rip-roaring international friendlies on Christmas Eve, if you can believe it. Iraq plays China, and Palestine plays Iran. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm planning on getting up nice and early at 3:30 in the morning to see Pacific time to see the Iraq-China spectacular.
That sounds like an Axis of Evil special.
Doesn't it sound like they're selling you a cat for a rabbit when they say soccer and rip roaring in the same sentence?
You know,
rip roaring.
I can cut your mic off.
I mean, like rip roaring in soccer is like back-to-back corner kicks. You know what I mean? I mean, it just
really, Frank. And you watch golf, right?
Oh, let me tell you something.
You watch chess. We've been talking about chess for how long now?
But let me tell you something. Golf is boring until you're going for a 12-footer for $35,000. Let me tell you.
Have you ever been in that situation?
Yes, with World Sports Exchange, they used to have that market, and I used to bet the one without Tiger Woods. And then I thought golf was so boring until the guy says, "Okay," and he's lining up for an 11-yard putt.
And here he is. Here's the putt. And the crowd goes wild.
But you guys, so now we got a great Christmas show for our fans.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the World Sports Exchange. Do you think they were a lifetime winner or loser on their interactive wage trade?
Well, their spreads were so big once you did the real margins. You know, like when it was 56-44, stuff like that or 56-42.
Yeah.
Gosh. I know some guy. I think they won. What do you think?
They probably won on that. Yeah.
I think they were a big winner, yeah.
So where did it go wrong for them? Where do you think they lost it all? You think that honestly the banking the
Ponzi scheme was everything.
Right.
Was it Stanford?
Mark Stanford Bank. Stanford, right.
Well, they invested all that money in Matchbook.
And Matchbook didn't help. But I think they were pretty much fucked by the time they got into Matchbook. I think that was like round 2. But the big one was the Sanford International Savings and Loan. I think they had because they couldn't. The problem was they had so much money and they were doing so much post-up business in an era where there wasn't really a lot of banks that wanted to touch them, and they got such favorable terms from this other bank, Sanford International Bank in Antigua, and I think they got really hurt when it turns out that bank was just a total Ponzi scheme.
Wow.
And yeah.
Yeah, it was a great book. I love it.
This is December 21st.
I think that's the first one I ever played. That one and sportsbook.com.
That was your first book, sportsbook.com?
And World Sports Exchange. My friend turned me on to that. I remember that sportsbook.com used to have things like if you lost by 11 runs, they gave you your money back. If the final score ever ended on 22 in a football game, you got your money back in the pros. Things that goofy stuff.
Yeah, I think World Sports Exchange was my first account I ever funded. I think, but it was close. The Greek was an early one. I was into the Greek really early. And Post Time, that was also one of the first books.
Yeah.
What was that book out of Boston, Brian? I can't remember off the top of my head. The book out of Boston.
That might have been the first one. SOS, Sports Offshore.
That's it, SOS. Yeah.
Really?
What was the guy's name? Bob something?
Aramean. Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. His I guess it was his brother-in-law was a congressman from that area, around Salem, Massachusetts, just outside Boston, and got caught. There was some scandal where the guy was like tipping him off about something, but he ended up he went down. I think he did a little time and then came back. But yeah, that was also Carib. Carib was there at the time, and Premier League. Carib in Antigua. Yeah, they were in Antigua. That's right. There was the big books in Antigua at the time were Post Time, Carib, World Sports Exchange, Sports Offshore. Is there one more that I'm missing? Oh, WWTS.
Yeah.
And then the Greek was, of course, was in Jamaica. But the thing is that those 6 books, 5 in Antigua plus the Greek, they came up with a transfer system where if you wanted to move money from one book to the other, you could just call them up. And if you just had $200 you wanted to move over from one to the other, they would do that for you. And that was kind of like the precursor to NetTeller. That was before NetTeller ever existed.
Hey, there's something.
Hey, look at that, guys. Look at that. Billy Donlan. Thank you, Billy. That's right.
2-0.
Liverpool up 2-0. That's fantastic. We appreciate the updates, Billy. I'm actually one of the reasons that we had such a disaster here with the radio network is I'm busy watching the Liverpool game. Okay, that's not true. I am watching it, but that's not why.
So Nick, really, I mean, during these 10 days of festivities here this month, there's just all kinds of action-packed soccer.
Yeah, so the Premier League's very different than the other leagues. They don't take a winter break. They don't give the players off, and so they play massive matches, culminating on the 3rd of January, where Liverpool play Manchester City. That's the match everyone's waiting for, sort of a 6-pointer, because Liverpool are top by 1 point over City right now. So,
wow.
So it's a huge match, and then there's an international break, and then they'll come back on the 12th. But there's lots of discussion amongst football people around the world about the Premier League and about the amount of stress that they put their players under by playing what is essentially year-round with just a 3-month break. And, it's a lot of matches, and it puts a lot of strain on them. And there's some discussion about that could be why English teams don't fare as well in European competition, because they're not as rested, and the Premier League's super competitive all the time. And there's a modicum of truth to that, but other than that, it's more than anything just an excuse. But it's great from a fan's perspective, because we get holidays and sports, and life is great.
So do you think that people are more interested? Like that's got to supersede like the topic of the government shutting down here in this country, right? Something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, unless you work for the government, why do you care?
Oh, okay.
Most people work for the government. I'm sorry, I forgot. No. Look, it's all bad news. But yes, it does. No one in the UK really cares that much about the American government shutting down. Of course, here we just watch Premier League football and drown our sorrows.
Well, you guys.
So how will the World Cup schedule be impacted? In 2 years, are we going to be playing the World Cup in December and January, or
correct?
I forgot what the.
Yeah, it's going to be in December of 2022, and it's going to create absolute havoc with just about all the European leagues, the Premier League more than any, and it's just a complete farce, quite honestly. And we talk about integrity in sports, and we're worried about sports betting and all this nonsense. I mean, you have the organizing entity for the most popular sport in the world that is still really corrupt, and up until Sepp Blatter left was like extremely corrupt. It was more corrupt than, say, the Venezuelan government. If you thought that was possible.
Wait.
What about the American government?
Slow down. Now, which government's more corrupt?
The Venezuelan government.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's bad, and the American government too. See, Frank, I'm going to get you going. Look at it. Do you see Frank's face? That's priceless, isn't it? That's worth 100 comments.
We all know that.
This Qatar World Cup is the most corrupt thing that's ever happened in sports history, probably. It's such a disgrace. It's so disgusting. It's just a travesty. And the fact they're bringing in all these workers from, Bangladesh and India, and they're just dying in droves. And, it's just, and they're putting in these living conditions that you wouldn't let cockroaches live in.
Well, right. That's it. Well, you are absolutely spot on there, Rick. I mean, look, my position on this has always been that Qatar should get the World Cup, because all they did was play the game of bribery and corruption better than all the other countries that also played along. It's not like the other countries that were bidding didn't also hand massive envelopes of wads of cash to the voting members of FIFA. But the thing that is most disturbing is the treatment of the migrant workers in Qatar, because they're having the World Cup in a country whose population is smaller than the people that usually attend the World Cup. They had almost no stadiums. It's the smallest footprint ever, and so they've had to build all these stadiums. And if I might add, the sort of centerpiece stadium, they got this European female designer to design this stadium, and it literally looks like a giant vagina.
Oh, wow.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can say something's a little fishy going on there, but it does.
What's the main cause of death for the migrants that are dying? Is it just
well,
they falling off like the top of stadiums in construction?
Yep.
They're constructing all these stadiums.
Well, look, I mean, it is the middle of the desert. You know, here in Las Vegas, we just had a tragedy at the Trump Tower where that window washer fell off and died. Which, I mean, that's now that's in a country where OSHA carries, you know, a fair amount of clout, where we care about our workers and we don't want to see them splattered on the floor below at all. And by the way, very tragic. I don't mean to make light of it.
When did this happen?
This happened last week. But in Qatar, they don't care. These guys are up there, you know, building these stadiums. As they're not getting enough water, they're not getting enough rest, they're not getting enough breaks. They're living in slums. It's really a terrible situation, and you know, I think FIFA should have acted on it because they support human rights and human dignity, and as we all should, by the way. It's a basic tenet of humanity and of being a human being is caring about your fellow man. And other than Donald Trump, of course, by the way. But all right, Frank, I'm just trying to get a rise out of Frank here.
No
but it is slow. You can see his head's getting redder and redder.
I sent $75 to the GoFundMe page for the wall, and we've already raised over $1.5 million towards our $1 billion towards our $1 billion goal.
Well, you know.
I'm gonna send 75 to the GoFundMe to buy ladders for migrants.
Well, you know, the $1 million that's been raised so far is probably enough to buy I don't know, the lock for the door, right? The way the government spends money, or the porta potty.
And do you really think that?
Go ahead, Rick.
No, do you really think that money that guy's raising, he's going to just give a check to the government and Donald Trump? But supposedly the guy's a very questionable individual anyway. So I'm guessing that money is going right into his pocket.
No, this is how it works. Okay, yeah, he's for sure going to deliver a check. He's apparently it's all set. He's raised, I think, $5 million. No, was it $5 or $1 million?
Well, this morning it was $1, but it was climbing.
One something. He's going to drive down there. He's going to deliver a check for $25, but he's going to be delivering it in his brand new Bugatti Veyron.
Nice.
That's right. All right.
Back to the window washer.
Yes.
I've always wondered about the concept of falling off of a building like that. Like, it would be absolutely horrible for the, you know, whatever 5-10 seconds it takes you to actually hit the ground. But then I would think you're out instantly. If you had to choose between falling off of a skyscraper and drowning, how would you rather go?
Neither way.
Skyscraper. Well, neither would be ideal, but we have to pick one. Yeah, let's go with the splat. The drowning would those would be like 3 minutes of just the most absolute dread you could ever go through, you know, and knowing you're going to die, it's going to take you 3 to 5 minutes.
Now, if you ever read the stories of the people that have tried to commit suicide jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, many have survived.
Yeah, there have been a few that have survived.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. A lot of them have survived, and each and every one of them say that as soon as they took their last foot off and jumped, that they were like, no, I don't want to do this.
I changed my mind.
I changed my mind. Every one of them. Obviously, you don't get that reaction. Somebody shoots themselves, it's all over. But every one of them had the exact same thing. Like, they said, like, no, I don't really want to do this. And they survived.
That's why you should always bring a parachute in case.
Or a bungee cord.
Change your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you do a bungee.
I don't know if the parachute have enough time to open.
Well, if you do the bungee, you can relive it every time you go up and down.
Hey, but I was reading the story of this kid. He was like the most incredible salesman. He was. They thought he was kind of slow, but they said that, you know, he could be a good salesman. So when he got hired at this company, you know, they was very reluctant to give him a job. And in the first day when he turned in his sales, he sold to one person, and the owner of the big company, you know, the owner of this big company, he said, you know, I got to let you go because even my worst salesman on their, my worst salesman on their worst day have over 20 sales. But then he looked at the readout, and the sale was for $103,200, his one sale. So the owner just couldn't believe it. So he asked, like, what happened? And then he said, well, I sold the guy some fish hooks, and then when we were talking, he didn't have a pole. So I ended up selling him a fishing pole, and we kept going and going. And I sold him a boat because he didn't have a boat to go on the fishing. Next thing you know, he didn't have a trailer or a truck to haul the boat in. I sold him a truck, a trailer. The whole thing was $103,200. So the owner just absolutely couldn't believe it that he had made such a sale like this. So the owner says, a guy came in to buy fish hooks, and you sold him $103,200 worth of goods. He goes, no, he came in to buy tampons. But I said, since your weekend's shot anyways, you might as well go fishing.
But hey, I hope everyone's enjoying our holiday special show here
anyway,
today.
so guys, do we want to put on a clinic here for the weekend games? And
well, let's do that for the next 5 minutes and then take an early day. What do you say?
Okay, let's put on
Sounds good.
a selection clinic. You guys go with this.
I will. I'll start it off
with
the.
you start off.
With the so Western Michigan's already kicked. So the first game of the night is going to be the Wake Forest Memphis game.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let me give you guys some music. Hold on. You gotta have some music.
Hey, by the way, Nick, can you hear me?
Okay, go. All right, next pick.
Hey, Nick. I was thinking, what is the if we wanted to get bumper music for the show, what is the what's the going rate for that? What does a show typically have to pay for bumper music?
Well, we do have bumper music. We have our we have our Fifth Street Open.
I know, but I had a couple songs in mind that I thought might be interesting from time to time. Gambling related songs.
Yeah, well, so
let's say like a small independent label, not a big song.
Right. So here's the thing with this, guys. If we're just on the radio, we can basically play whatever music we want because almost all radio networks and stations have licenses to play music. Okay. The problem is for the online streaming portion of it. So if we play copyrighted music, by the way, if you're listening to this, folks, then you're getting a little inside scoop here. If you play copyrighted music on your streaming video, you're in violation, and unless you're a news show, which we most likely don't qualify as. And then what happens is we get shut down by YouTube and the various providers that send it. So that's not a good thing. So to answer your question, it's probably good to avoid it. And actually, it's a great point you bring up before we get to our picks. And by the way, Kurt Morgan, I can't put this up because I'm not Andrew. Okay, says, Merry Christmas to Frank, Rick, and Brian, and of course not to me, Kurt, I take it personally, and your families. Looking forward to more incredible plays in 2019. Go Tigers, Clemson, that's all.
Thanks, Kurt. Kurt's one of our loyal.
Thank you, Kurt.
But the story that I want to take what you just said, Brian, and give you a little gambling story on this one for you. So there is a huge site in the poker world called Poker News. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's used to be owned by Tony G, and they do a lot of video, short form video, and stuff like that. They do a lot of video features. Video production is a big portion of what they do. And for the last 12 years since they've been doing this, they have always used just regular music. And I used to do the same thing when I was with Bluff, and we would always either have composers write our music, or we would use, we'd pay royalties for the music or use royalty free, and no one could ever understand. Well, they sold to PokerStars a number of years ago, and they were sent a number of cease and desist letters on this by the various music publishing agencies, and they were just sued for over $100 million about 2 months ago. Poker News and PokerStars by a relation because of their use of copyrighted material over 10 years.
Wow.
So all right, let's not do that.
Yeah, it's probably a bad idea. So should we get back to the picks?
Okay, so this is for Kurt and all of our Fifth Street Social listeners, everything. Let's let them have it, guys. What do we got?
Okay, all right. I'm right out of the gate tomorrow morning. Wow, this sounds like a time start that is custom made for Memphis. This team has 12 p.m. Eastern written all over it. They probably play more noon games than any team in football. And I like them tomorrow, -3 in the what is that bowl called? No, it's the Birmingham Bowl. What's the current name of that? Birmingham Bowl. There it is. Okay.
That up right now. Yeah.
It is
Jared
the Birmingham Bowl.
Birmingham Bowl. No, the Jared Birmingham Bowl. You went to Jared.
Like he went to Jared?
He went to
Is that like,
Jared.
or is that like Subway Jared that's in jail?
No. I don't think it's that Jared.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has anything to do with it.
Because I think Jared's bowl is actually in his cell with him, isn't it? With the sink.
It is.
Yeah.
He's actually in Colorado. Little known fact. That's the prison outside of Denver.
Now, do they make him eat Subway sandwiches?
I think he has to take a foot long from time to time, and I don't think it's. I don't think it's anything.
It's
he
not
wants,
the slimming one.
No.
It's got all the trimmings, no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
dear.
Okay.
We're really
so,
degenerating here.
So, okay, so we like Memphis -3. All right, let's keep going because guys, all of our guys are waiting for the dough.
We go one by one here, just almost like we're giving our picks for this show.
Okay.
I'm gonna go take the next pick. I'm gonna go with game 227 tomorrow night. Louisiana Tech getting a point at Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl. You know, you always have to worry about the refs in these Hawaii home games, especially being a Hawaii Bowl game. But otherwise, Louisiana Tech's such a much better team than Hawaii. This line shouldn't even be anywhere near a pick 'em, in my opinion. I think La Tech should be more like a 3.5, 4-point favorite. But because it's in Hawaii, they put the line as Hawaii -1. So I'm going to go with La Tech as my first pick tomorrow night.
Wow, Rick, that actually, I don't know if Rockford put that out on his thing or not, but he emailed me and he loves that game. But I don't know if it was one of his picks. Guys, now, I hate to just keep reiterating it, but this is how much I love this game since it's my pick. Kentucky. Kentucky is what I'm going to take plus the 6 in the bowl game.
When is that game? Is that game January 1st?
You're out of order there, Frank.
Am I okay? Well, then, how
that's
about
New Year's
Duke?
Day. That's New Year's Day.
I mean, there's two games that I love in the bowls, and that's Duke and Kentucky. When does Duke play? I don't have the screen. in front
Duke
of me.
plays the 27th. Yeah,
Really?
They play the next Thursday.
Well, then we got time for that too. But I like Duke and Kentucky. All right, so I'll give you something relevant on this. I will go with NFL, the Baltimore Ravens plus 4.5. Really like them.
Baltimore
Saturday.
Ravens. Okay. All right. I'm going to do all of my bowl games and then switch to the NFL. So I'm going to stay in college football and go with the under in Houston Army. I've given that a few times, but it's a big bet for me.
Okay. What's the current line, Brian?
60.
Oh, it's climbed up a little bit. Good, because it dropped to 58 there briefly. Good. So 60 is decent.
Okay, so I'm going to go and do a few NFL picks here because the next bowl, all the bowl games I like will be like well into next week, so we'll talk about them during next week's shows. But my first NFL play, and I'm not usually like this, Frank, but I'm starting with the big favorite and taking Cleveland minus 9.5 at home against Cincinnati. Baker Mayfield's gotten the city to just be all over them, and he got the city to sell out the game, and they're so into the Browns right now. I think this is going to be such a destruction. I like Cleveland to win this game, something like 44-7. You know, this is going to be over before it starts. And I know we hate laying a lot of points, but this is one of those games I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to pull a Bry and lay a big number.
Wow, Cleveland.
Wow, that's actually considered a Bry, huh?
Yeah, that's officially considered a Bry from now on.
Hey,
yeah.
You know what I was going to run by? I was going to run by you guys. I really like. I mean, it's a short Wong schedule, but Brian, you got me on Houston while I was still able to grab the 8.5 with the 6 points. There's only 3 Wong games, but they look really good, and they're games that actually mean something. Like, you know, you're not going to get like Atlanta and somebody that doesn't care. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but here's what the Wongs look like to me. I guess you would have to take Dallas, right? -1 against Tampa Bay.
I happen to like Dallas, but it's a not a great spot for a Wong.
It's a junior Wong?
A 1 off of a 7, but it fits. It's borderline Wong, but I happen to like the play. So
okay. How about that one? Then of course Houston, and then the last one would be Seattle, right?
Houston is a great one. I love Houston. That's absolutely tremendous one, and I like Seattle. Sure.
Right. That's about it, though. I mean, is there any junior Wongs?
Yeah, there's some junior. The Raiders are junior Wong.
Yeah.
The Jets are junior Wong.
Yeah.
Jets.
No, the Jets are. Yeah, they're halfway between a junior Wong and a traditional Wong.
But now, okay, so now there's a game where it's first of all it's just a junior Wong, And do you think like a teaser is just as strong in that spot with two teams that are out of it like this?
No, I don't. I think we're entering into the danger zone of the thing with teasers. They've been good, and they started off, by the second week this year, they were good. Actually, I think the first week they might have been good this year. They've been pretty good all year, but we're kind of in a danger zone in the last 2 weeks. You need to be a little bit careful with teasers. And then the good news is teasers get unbelievably good in the playoffs. Right. So I would be a little bit – I mean, that's why it's great to have open spots with teasers, because you can fill them as needed at the end of the season, and then you can really make a killing in the playoffs with long teasers.
So then you would say like the power of the 6 points in the NFL is on games that are really played, with both teams absolutely having to play, just like regular value, right?
Yeah, and lower totals helps. So you get lower totals in the postseason. You get cold weather. It's everything. Everything is favorable for teasers in the postseason.
Well,
all right. Well, anything in the NBA tonight, Rick?
Wait, Rick, you like
no more NFL?
Yeah, let's get it all out, guys. We don't.
I was going to go with game 111, Giants +10 at Indy. The Giants have been actually playing tough of late until this last game against Tennessee, but I think it's a lot of points still for Indy to be laying against anyone. And Beckham might be back. I just think the Giants are a team that likes to fight in these type of situations, and I think getting 10 points here is a ton. So I'm going to take the Giants with my second NFL play. I'm sure Frank likes that pick.
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to digest this Cleveland bet of yours, laying 9 with the Brownies, huh? Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll either play. Yeah, I mean, there's no way I would now take Cincinnati since you like Cleveland that much. But boy, see, I like Jacksonville a little bit. Believe it or not, I taking 3.
Yeah, I've seen Jacksonville at a lot of sharp accounts.
Yeah.
Oh, Jacksonville.
How about
I like
you,
Jacksonville. I like the over in Steelers Saints. 52.5. I actually think that's a low total for these teams, especially if oh boy, somebody's talking some smack here. Billy Donlin. I can't wait to take Penn State in every teaser possible against Frank.
Oh,
wow, you woken up the beast.
Damn.
But I like the Steelers Saints over, and I especially like it if the Saints get up early. Nothing like going over when the Steelers are trailing. Like if somehow the Saints got up 14-0, that'd be a all-in bet on the over during interactive.
But I just want to see on that Fifth Street Social. Now I got Billy over here like this, trying to open up a can of whoop ass on me, and then he's got to always use a teaser. I mean, if you like Penn State that much, brother, let's just let's get it on. Lay the 6. I'm taking the 6.
Frank, he's probably 12 years old. He probably doesn't even actually have a
real Billy's a pretty sharp guy. But I'm sure Billy.
Well, hold on a second, guys.
I hope you win by 1, 2, or 3.
Maybe Billy is in fact Jared.
Do you think
he's using the internet in the common room there in Colorado? He
gets his 1 hour entertainment daily from 4 to 5 Eastern.
Exactly.
But Billy, don't forget when you guys took Jacksonville against Dallas that 1 week, and you were teasing all like this. That still got hurt, buddy. That's that was a.
Yeah, it sounds like every Billy Donlin play is a teaser, and I don't get it. I mean, whether it's football, basketball, what is this deal with teasers?
He goes against my picks, but he has to use a teaser to do it. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
That's good
yeah,
for him.
Well, he's got to be no more than he's got to be a kid.
Guys, let's Rick.
Hey guys, I just looked at the clock. I had planned on taking off at the last commercial segment,
which is now
somewhere at 4, which is now.
Well, hold on. Tell your parole officer you're on the way.
Quickly, Rick. NBA tonight. Rick.
And NBA. Well, first college, I like Northwestern -2.5 going against Bryce, Oklahoma.
Okay.
At Northwestern, I think this is a good spot for Northwestern here as a small home favorite. They're playing great, and I think they're going to get this one done. NBA wise, it's a big schedule, but there's not many games that I love. But I'm going to go with 509 Milwaukee as at a pick 'em at Boston with Boston's banged up. Milwaukee's coming in healthy, and I'm going to take Milwaukee on the road here to get a win. Boston. I'll take pick 'em or maybe lay 1.
So Northwestern, Milwaukee. Brian, you like Memphis. Nothing else, Rick, in the NBA?
Man, it's funny. It's because there's so many games tonight, and I was looking over the schedule for a while, and I do kind of like the under in the Lakers New Orleans game. That's 231.5 now. It opened 234, down to 231.5. I would still maybe throw like a quarter unit, a half unit on the under in that game.
Well, Brian, I guess you guys, I'll be speaking to you guys, but we won't see you and everybody. And have everybody have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening and watching us. I guess we'll see you the day after Christmas. We'll wrap it up. Fifth Street
Boxing
Sports,
Day.
you guys. Yeah,
Boxing Day. All right.
All right, Brian. I will be chatting with you guys on the WhatsApp.
All right,
Sounds
guys.
good.
All right. Okay.
Have a great
Bye,
holidays.
guys.